A good Saturday to you all, and in today's Better Design, we are going to make a nice hero section with some social media links. This is JP here with Websites for Beginners, and I hope you had a good week. Well, let's bring in a new block, a new section here, and then we can begin, and I'll show you what we are going to do here. I'm bringing a blank block, and now I'm totally confused. I've got like 3 blank blocks there. Let's go and delete a few. I'll delete these 2. Right, keep this one at the bottom. Let's delete a column over here, and then the first thing I'm going to do is change my background color. Okay, I'll have my swatch set up there, and the code for this one is 383838 in case you want to follow along. And leave it just like that. Bring in a text element for our main heading, and then we bring in a spacer, and then under this I'm going to bring in social media icons, and it depends on what builder you use. It may have different ways of doing it. I'm going to do it with normal icons. And I don't have my icons activated. Let me just do that. Right, done. And bring in my icon over here. So the first thing I'm going to do, and this block that we are building out, this hero banner, is a very good one that you can use for your own portfolio, your curriculum vitae, your CV or resume, or an About Us page. And you will see when we get to the end how good it will look if you have this kind of black and white photo with some social media link icons on it. And this guy is called Mr. Wilson Fisk. And let's just change the color to white. And then for typography, I'm going to stick it to Poppins and put it on 60, not 16. And then let's put it also on bold. I like this thickness of Poppins. It really, well, I almost said pop. And then because I'm working with a heading, you will know every time I'm working with a one-line heading, to give me full control, I reduce it to 1 because I like to have rather a spacer that gives me that control instead of the line height that's going to add space at the top and the bottom of your line. And then for the letter spacing, let's leave it on 0, center line. For the spacer, what are we at? 50. Let's make that a little bit smaller, 35. And then let's style our icon. So what we're going to do here is bring in icons. So the first icon we will probably bring in is Good Miss Facebook. Let's bring in Facebook and let's change the color. I'm going to make it white. And shall we change the color for the hover? We shall. We just make it slightly faded. So I've set the opacity here to around 70% for the hover, so that here is the default, and if somebody hovers over it, just slightly changes. Of course, what you need to do here is that you need to link it to your Facebook account. So you bring in your Facebook page there, you're going to add it there for Wilson Fisk. But I want to make this discreet. I think the tendency, we've talked about it previously, is that often we want everything to be big. We think when it's that large on a page, oh, people can't miss this, they will surely click on it. But you know, sometimes it's the discrete things that make your site look more professional, and that's what we are after. So because of that, I'm going to change my size. It's set to 48. I think 32 here looks fine to me. Maybe we can take it down to 24. That gets very, very small. 24. I'm going to go with 24. And then we want to bring in our other social icons. And the great thing here is I'm just going to click on it and then go here to duplicate. It's going to give me another one. I click on that. Right, and what else is this guy doing in his free time? Instagram? Probably he's doing Instagram. That's Instagram, right? Instagram. And let's duplicate it for another one. Pinterest. If he's on Instagram, he's probably on Pinterest. Pinterest. Great, Pinterest is in. And let's give him one more. And this one we will probably say Twitter. 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 I always get it wrong. Good. And if I look back at this, we have a lot of spacing problems here. First of all, let's put some spacing at the top and the bottom. And this one is set at 201. I'm going to increase it a little bit to 25. And we're going to do the same for the bottom. All right, around 225. Okay, already it looks better. These icons, something wrong, right? And what did I mention now in the previous tutorials? Something wrong? go with space. And the space here is not between the main title, this heading, and the icons. The space here is between them. If you just look at that, it needs some space to give it more definition so that you can see the Facebook, you can see the Instagram, you can see the different icons. So we have to add space between them. This little element has a nice function. Go to icon, and over here I'm going to increase that. Where are we going? 32. Good. Look at that. By itself, not that impressive, right, Sarah? But what we're going to do now is we're going to bring in an image in the background, and you're going to see how magnificent that's going to be. And in this case, a black and white image, and it's going to look so good. And all we need to do is take away that, and look at that. Brilliant. So this is what I was saying earlier. If you think in terms of an About Us page, or you want your portfolio and you need to talk about yourself, or it is a CV for someone, this is a very, well, what is this guy trying to do here? So cool, right? It's a very good way to grab the attention, tells you who this person's name is, and then follow them to their social media links. I just want to go and check for this. Where should we go? I think about here. Okay, and if you want, of course, more of him in Wilson, then you can drag it. And if it is allowed, you can make this also a full height, which means on any page that this block will display, it will always be a full height. I think full height is here pretty nice. On the other hand, you know, we don't probably want so much of ourselves, especially if this is about ourselves. We want to be a little bit humble, right? Before we say goodbye and you go and enjoy your Saturday with a good barbecue or something, lekker braai, let's go and check our responsiveness. Here we are on a mobile, and I want to just go back and deactivate the full height so we can do it as if it's back there to around 220. This one same. Let's go to our tablet and see how it looks. Okay, we need to add space here. Okay, and then for mobile, the same. That's it. Now, I think one of the things that you may be thinking, if you are, and I'll give you a star, 3 stars, if you were saying and thinking about this, especially if you go to tablet, you will say to me, JP, in the previous tutorials, you talked a lot about contrast, but here I have white in the background and I've got these lettering over it that's also white. Why this instance you don't put on overlay or something like that? In this case, your brain is filling in the gaps. If you had a colored image background, you will see it will get very distracting. And let's do that while I'm here, just to prove that I'm right. Let's take like this one over here. And you will see it gets lost because your background is, well, too exciting according to these guys who just scored the deal of a lifetime. Your background is too busy. And because of that, your letters don't come through and your brain struggles to combine that into something that it can understand. This is all about your brain, and this is how your brain works. But the moment you bring in this case of black and white, it becomes much easier, just like that. It's not that busy, it's not that colorful, and the Wilson Fisk, even the social media icons, look how small they are, and you can see them so clearly. Look at tablet, and you look at your mobile. Very, very easy to see them, and they work like that. So do remember that if you want to achieve this effect and you want to use an image like the one we just did, of course you will have to do a few extra steps. You will have to bring in a overlay. Otherwise, it's going to fall flat and it's not going to be as effective, and you're not going to see the name and the social media icons. But I like the one that we had for Wilson Fisk. So let's put it back on our good friend, Mr. Poser, and then we call it a day. Save our work and let's go do it.